as well as a group of EU officials, as accusing the EU bloc of failing to act meaningfully in response to the worsening humanitarian situation in Gaza. The group warning that its inaction has enabled Israel's ongoing military offensive. Well, Philip Turle, International Affairs Editor, is still with me here on set. Philip, what's the basis then for these accusations?
Well, this isn't a story which was reported in the British daily The Guardian yesterday. It says that there is a group, a witness, a growing split between different groups within the European Union. This is a group of EU workers calling themselves EU Staff for Peace, who say basically the inaction of the European Union has contributed to the environment of unaccountability that resulted in the full-scale invasion of the Gaza Strip taking place at this moment. They say that the EU has been far too slow to react to all of this. It is far too divided in its response to what is going on in the Gaza Strip and in its condemnation of the attitude and the way that the Israeli Prime Minister has been handling this affair, and that they want more action taken by the European Union. They want it, for example, to suspend the EU-Israeli agreement to end member states' arms exports to Israel. They also want it to pull out of a contract it signed with Israel over trade, which has been signed back in 2000. And it wants more action in banning the sale of weapons to Israel from the European Union. The problem here, Stuart, is that the EU is a 27 bloc number of nations, and they don't all see eye to eye. For example, you have Spain, which is much more in favour of being hard towards the Israeli government. We're just hearing from Sarah Morris, but you have other countries like Germany, for example, which has just announced again that it's going to continue its weapons sales to Israel because it says Israel has a right to defend itself, and if weapons sales stop, that would open the door to Israel being a victim, for example, to attacks from Iran or from Yemen. Therefore, it should carry on selling weapons to it. And also we had Benjamin Netanyahu being welcomed in by Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary. So there is this big divide in the European Union, but what they're basically saying is the EU Commission, the EU Parliament and other EU institutions should be much more united in their condemnation of what's going on in Gaza. But for the moment, I'm afraid that looks a bit like a long shot.
Philip, thanks very much. Philip Turle, International Affairs Editor.